Mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around, who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Friday, April 12th. We got a really big show for you today. As promised, we have a big preview of the LSU Tennessee weekend. We have a lot of conversation on what we need to see this weekend. But before I get to any of that, I do not want to bury the lead. Our co-host, our friend, childhood friend of mine, teammate, most outstanding player of the College World Series, national champion in football, national championship in baseball. He can add an extra dash or an extra bullet point to his resume, and that is the SEC Network analyst. And that is Jared Mitchell. Welcome back to the show from Charlotte. He had his debut last night on SEC Network. If you popped it on and you were watching it, you could have seen he looking crispy in his black suit, nice little pocket square. He looked good, Coach. You look great. Good job.
Yeah, the boys just trying to fit in a little bit, right? Just trying to level up a little bit. We had a good time, man.
Look, he had papers. That was the most prepared I've ever seen Jared before a show in my life.
It still almost went unknown and undone because shit kind of hit the fan from the start.
That's how it works. That's how it works. It's I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad you're making time. This is a new career, baby. This is what you do. You go live, then you go virtual, and maybe vertical. Who knows?
Yeah.
Virtual phone calls, all these types of
things. We do everything.
That's it. we have a lot of conversation, obviously, about baseball we're going to get into today. LSU opens up their 3-game series at Tennessee tonight. Flip-flopping the rotation. Gage Jump is throwing today. Holman is throwing tomorrow. Has nothing to do with results. Has everything to do with matchups, I believe. I think that Jay sees that Tennessee has they struggle a little bit with lefties. So they're going to throw Gage Jump on Friday against the TBD. I don't know if they have announced their starter for tonight. But it has Lloyd, our producer, has said that it has not been announced. So Gage Jump is going to throw today. I would imagine he's going to go. You look great.
Thank you.
I would imagine he's going to go, and then maybe Herring after him, right, to finish out the game. And then you got Holman coming in Saturday against Drew Beam, who is their number one or who's their best guy. Hopefully you can sneak 2 wins out, and then go to Sunday, and hopefully you can swing it and score some runs. And I would imagine if Griffin Herring does throw today, that means Cade Anderson may start on Sunday. We do not know that. That's what I would hope. We're going to talk about that more in depth. Tennessee, just for everybody to know, Tennessee's field is an absolute bandbox. And the ball flies. They hit a bunch of homers. It's almost like Mike Rooney was talking about on Wednesday. It's almost like downhill. Like center field fence is almost lower than home plate, which does not bode well for the pitchers, which means the balls just keep going and they keep traveling. We should see how that goes. Tennessee, it's a bunch of homers, but they struggle a little bit with lefties. I think that's kind of where that decision came from. It is Masters week. This is round 2. Tiger Woods, as of now, he is 1 over through how many holes? 12, 13? He is putting for birdie right now, long putt. Hopefully he can 2-putt, make it for par. He is battling. He is right in the mix of the cut. I think it seems like he's going to make the cut. I don't want to mush him, which it seems like I just probably did. Weather was they got the weather that we got in Louisiana yesterday morning, so it was delayed. Tiger's playing a lot of golf today. It is very windy, windy conditions. We'll see what happens, but it's obviously the Masters. Scheffler's in second. He hasn't teed off, or he may have just teed off.
Just teed off. He's on 1.
He's on 1. He is 6 under. Who's leading?
The leader is still Bryson DeChambeau.
No.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, then he just retook the lead.
Yes.
So Live Golf, Bryson DeChambeau in the lead, played really well. Everybody remembers when he started talking shit on the course of Augusta. It should be a par 67. He hasn't really done well there. He had a low score of the day yesterday. Who's in second?
Hogard. Nikolai Hogard.
Then our boy tanked. He had a bad hole there.
And then Max Homa.
Max Homa was leading for like 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What happened?
He just
doubled.
He just made bogey. He's
He's
6 under.
Okay, so he's right there.
Yeah.
Right in the mix. Why are you smiling? Because you knew where I was trying to get, and you just wouldn't say where he was at. He was in the lead. Now he's not in the lead.
Still second.
It's going to get interesting. It's going to get fun. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, every year. The Masters is the Sunday afternoon. Watching the Masters is the best.
That's where I got this shirt.
You look Masters spirit, baby. You're gonna have some pimento cheese sandwiches and all those things.
Hey, what was that, Jared?
How much paper that day?
Oh, this comes with the Live at the Ladays in Lafayette.
There you go.
It's a members only club in River Range that we do.
What's the entry fee?
It's free.
Oh, okay.
You got to know where the address is.
Okay. In other sports news, before we get to the baseball, Pels win last night. They officially lock up, at worst, the number 6 seed in the West. They played good basketball. That means there's going to be playoff basketball in the blender, which means I am also now trying to jump on and try to see if I can finagle
biggest
some tickets
Pelicans fan you know.
to go in there and watch some basketball, which would be fun. OJ Simpson, RIP.
My dear friend, OJ. Played golf with him in Vegas.
Did you?
On the tee box.
Oh, okay.
He was playing alone, which was weird.
Well,
can't believe you can't find a partner.
Crazy.
You don't want to spend 5 hours alone with OJ?
I think at 76 or 78 years old. 76 years old, he passes away. Obviously, that's sports news because he's an athlete or a former athlete. Jaden Daniels to attend the NFL draft. That just came out, I think, yesterday. It was announced that he is going to be one of the 3 quarterbacks to attend the draft live. And the Ohtani thing is still a thing. It seems like everybody was right about Ohtani being not a gambler. And his guy was a little bit more sophisticated than I think people gave him credit for and finagled his way into stealing a lot of money and losing a lot of money in the sports betting world. I think he was $40.7 million in the hole. 40.7. So that's almost $41 million in the hole.
I just need one more bump.
Hey,
I'm in.
Let me just ask this very simple question. I just want to know. Over the course of a year, and I read somewhere where apparently this guy was able to get into all of his devices and turn off his notifications and or forward them to him as well. So I understand that. But you're telling me over the course of a year that Ohtani just never even looked in his
That's what me and Lloyd were talking about, and look, I am not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm pretty in tune with what's going on in my life and my finances. If my financial advisor wanted to steal money from my portfolio without me knowing, it would have taken me a second to figure it out because I trusted him, right? I'm just saying that, like, not my checking account.
Yeah.
So
that's why not the way I did. I said over the course of a year, and there's obviously who knows when he looked in it, right? So I'm not saying 40 million was going when he looked in it. Well, over the course of a year, you just never noticed there was millions of dollars missing.
Well, that is a question.
And none of this betting ever happened on a single game in baseball. The only thing that this guy actually has inside trader information to.
Right. Well, look, I'm not disagreeing with you, but the FBI, me and Lloyd also made this point. The FBI got involved, right? The FBI subpoenaed this guy's phone records and the bookies and all these other people.
FBI got involved at Diddy's house too. What's that really mean?
No. Let me get out there. Let me get this out. So they subpoenaed all of these things, right? So it's above baseball at this point, right? Major League Baseball can do whatever they want. I believe. You think the FBI gives the FBI of the United States of America really gives a shit about if Ohtani is guilty, if they're going to cover that up? I don't believe that. So I think that whenever they said, it's not just the $4 million that Ohtani paid off the bookie. It is, this guy's been doing it for a while. He stole more money from other places. And so I think that kind of validates Ohtani, hey, I didn't really have anything to do with it. This guy legitimately did steal money and is going to get arrested and go to jail.
Okay, let me ask you this other question, because I agree with you in the sense of the FBI's on a different level. They do different things, but you do realize this isn't just a baseball move, right? When there's almost billions of dollars riding on this one human, and the economy, especially in that area, especially for that team, especially for that city, sways if he's not active. I think that goes a little bit above just baseball.
I know, but that's my point. Is that the interpreter's doing the betting. I don't think Ohtani is betting.
I'm not saying that he did. I just find it hard that he knew not a single thing about it.
Yeah, I think he could have been a little bit of
maybe
a little bit ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, maybe he knew, but maybe he didn't know the extent. I don't know. Like, this guy had bet trading from $10 all the way up to six figures, which is a wild range of bets. So I don't know.
I want to know when he put the $10 on.
$10. What did you bet $10 on if you're betting $130,000 on one bet? What are you betting $10 on?
Mikey, you've been there.
Maybe he forgot
the last of the account.
Maybe he forgot to put the extra zeros. I don't know.
I think he was out of money in the account.
I think it was a last-second live bet that he tried to put in, and he couldn't get to the extra zero.
Or realized, man, this is not good. Let me put together a 15-leg parlay. That $10 is going to pay me $1 million and maybe get this thing back. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what he did. Who knows? But he's in deep shit. Ohtani seems to be okay, which is great. Obviously, stories continue to unfold.
Hey, let me ask you this too, Mikey. This is another sidebar too. Just think about this. In the world of right now of today, where Vegas comes into play, sports betting comes into play, and everybody who's even been mentioned in the possible sports betting has at the very least out the jump have gotten what? Suspended indefinitely. Let's find out what's going on here. Ohtani ain't missed a single game.
Well, right, but I think that's because this wasn't directly, Ohtani was indirectly when it came out involved, right? Like, instead of, hey, he paid this off. And
we know.
And so I just think that maybe they knew, or they had the information without it becoming public yet, knowing, hey, okay, he didn't do anything, and maybe not, and maybe they didn't. Maybe they said baseball said, okay, no suspension because we can't afford that bad press. Even if he is guilty, if he's guilty and we find out later, then we'll come back and figure it out. I don't know, but It's good for baseball that he's still playing.
If it happened to Hank Blaylock, would he still be able to play?
Well, that's different. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, yes. If it's in the same situation, and he said, "Hey, my interpreter was gambling," and they had the information, and I think it would be. It'd be fine. Hey, I didn't gamble. This guy stole the money.
Well, wait. Let me ask you this question. Since Lloyd posted it that way, if he was playing for the Cincinnati Reds and hadn't signed for $800 million, would it still be the same way?
I think so. Here's my thing. Maybe the public perception would be different, but I don't think that they were going to suspend a guy for having literally, hey, there's no account of you betting. We only
know there's no account of him betting because that's what they first came out and said. We don't know that.
They do. No. The FBI came out and literally said there is zero.
No, the FBI came out now. I'm saying when it first came out.
But my point was maybe they knew that. Maybe they had information that they didn't come out publicly with because they knew that he was. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I think that if they knew he did not have any betting account active, then they're gonna keep him. They're gonna let him go.
At the very least, if it's not Shohei Ohtani, he is suspended for at least the game that they're playing in Japan. Like he would have been sat out at the very least. He'd have been like, all right, commissioner's list.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of athletes have played whenever they were under investigation for other things, not just gambling. I'm talking about other things.
Not gambling.
No. Well, I mean, there's the other ones. Everyone who has been suspended for gambling actually has gambled.
Yeah.
There has actually been, hey, we have this information. Keishan Butte has this, all this kind of thing. They actually had the information on these guys actually gambling. This is all assumptions, and this is all so they didn't know. So it's like, we can't do this if we don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He didn't do it, which is great, at least as of now. If it doesn't come out later, then it comes out.
Hey, I'm going to just throw this one to you, because this is, once again, it's kind of the same thing. It's just weird for me. It's kind of funny. What happened when we didn't know about Trevor Bauer?
What do you mean?
He was put on the cannot play list.
Know what actually happened?
Oh, I mean, that was a ongoing investigation. He was literally on trial, technically, at the time. So he had to go through all the court. Like, it was an actual, the allegation was filed. Like, this is, hey, I am suing you because this is what's going on. This is what happened. And so they had to let it play out in court. And, yeah, I mean, there's different levels to it. I just think that they had the information they needed for them to say, okay, we don't believe that you did it, and we're going to do it. And if you did do it, we're going to have pie on our face down the road, and we're going to have to figure this thing out. It's going to look bad, but that was a risk that they were willing to take, which I was okay with, because if they had that information, they're educated, they're good. But who knows? We'll see what happens. It's an ongoing story. But everybody's here to talk about LSU and SEC and what's going to happen this weekend. And as we said, LSU is in Tennessee. They have changed their rotation. They have moved it around. Gage Jump, who's been the Friday guy, he's got a 3.98 ERA. He has been solid. He has been
Saturday guy.
What did I say? Friday.
He's
the Friday guy this weekend, but he's been the Saturday guy. He's had a 3 just basically a 4 ERA. He's been good, not great. He's coming off Tommy John, so they're kind of like he's going to get better as the season goes, I would imagine. So they moved him up to Friday because Tennessee is not great against left-handed pitchers. And they moved Holman to Saturday because he's going to go head up with Drew Beam, who is their best guy in their rotation. What do you think about this move, Jay?
I mean, it's Jay trying to make a huge move here, man. First off, their best guy, in my opinion, is Drew Beam, right? He's been their most consistent guy. He has been someone that's been there the last couple of years that's thrown extremely well for him. You're going to throw Holman against him on Saturday. So it seems to me that they feel they have an inner route to being able to, I don't want to call it sneak a win, but kind of like steal a win-ish, if you will, for lack of a better term, on Friday night. Now, the one thing I do know is that if you go look at Tennessee's numbers on the year, bro, they have been incredible with the bat in their hands this year, especially at that ballpark. And like you said, it's a very, very, very hitter-friendly ballpark. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this kind of plays out because you need to win this series. Like, you really do. Like, I'm sorry. It's going to be
must
hard.
win.
It's going to be really, really, like, extremely hard to be able to get through the second half of the SEC and get to where you want to go with only 5 wins in the first half.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be really hard. So you need to win this series. So when you make the decision to throw Holman against their best arm on Saturday, it makes me feel that there is some kind of analytics and or stats and or advanced stats that you feel really, really, really good about when you go ahead and you put Gage Jump in that spot.
I agree, and I'm okay with it, right? And then some people are under the school of thought that, hey, if you need a win and you need a series, you can't lose the first game. Got to win game one, right? That's just kind of important based off of momentum and based off of everything else is going now. Someone can argue, well, we have 3 losses. We have 3 wins in the SEC. All 3 wins came in game one, and then we did not win the next 2. So that could be an argument there. But if you said, okay, this is such an important series, you have to win game one, start your number 1 guy in on Friday, get that game out of the way, and move on. I understand that. I am okay with what he's doing right now because I think that the struggles against left-handed pitching that Tennessee has shown up to this point, I think that is that trumps, hey, okay, we're going to throw our ace on Friday. I think this gives you as good of a shot as Holman throwing on Friday. And look, maybe they go Gage Jump for 4, Griffin Herring for 4, and score runs and end up, hey, you know what, we're done. We only use 2 or 3 guys, and then Holman can go 6 or 7 tomorrow, and hopefully give you 2 wins, right? Then you go into Sunday thinking, all right, we're facing a senior. He's a lefty. He's got a 3.5 ERA. He's got a little bit over a strikeout an inning. Doesn't walk guys. You say, all right, guys, it's up to you guys to fucking swing, score runs, and you carry our team on this Sunday, right? And hopefully, Cade Anderson goes out there and lights it up, and he's in the rotation. And you start to see the lineup and the rotation and the pitching staff start to form, and the roles start to be, obvious.
More defined.
Right? More defined. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So you're hoping that you see some roles defined.
We kind of talked about it, but there's some guys you got to find. There's probably some guys you're going to end up pissing off, but we're here. It's at that time where we got to have it's put up or shut up, perform or sit your ass down, and it's time to.
Well, look, these guys, I don't know. We still don't know who's throwing tonight, but over the weekend, the pitchers that you're going to face do not walk guys, right? Drew Bream's got 44 and 2/3 innings pitched, and he's only got 7 walks. And Zander Sechrist has 26 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 5 walks. So they're going to be around the zone as an offense. Hey, let's take that aggressive approach that we took in game 1 of last week, and let's take that aggressive approach that we took against McNeese. And these guys are going to be around the zone. Let's force them out the zone or scare them out the zone with the way that we're coming out swinging, right? Because they're not walking you. They're not striking out a whole bunch of guys. Like they have about a strikeout an inning, but it's not like they're striking out. If you look at Holman's numbers, he's got 44 and 2/3 and 71 strikeouts. Compare that to Drew Bream's got 44 and 2/3, only 40 strikeouts. So they're around the zone. They're pitching to contact. They're not going to strike out 15 guys in the lineup. So be aggressive offensively. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the offensively, I don't know if you'll be able to do it for 3 games, but like you said, they're around the zone. You need to have an offensive breakout. It's the perfect ballpark, kind of almost at the perfect time of year where the ball's going to start to fly a little bit. Who knows where the wind will be. You need your offense to kind of show up and kind of spearhead this thing. Like, yeah, you would love to go out there and give shutdown innings. I'm not sure how much you'll get that with this offense in that ballpark, meaning Tennessee's offense in that ballpark. But you need your offense to really spearhead how we're going to dictate the pace, how you're going to dictate the flow of the game, and you need to see that side of it kind of really come awake and kind of get going for you.
Yeah, and look, we talked about this. Like, what does LSU need? They need a lot of momentum, right? They need something to turn the tables again from what they've been doing over the last 4 weekends. And going on the road against a top 10 team when your backs are against the wall and coming home with a series win, that can do a lot of things for you as a club, right? And a lot of things moving forward because then you're on the road again next week at a lesser opponent, but an opponent that just swept Florida, right? So you're going to Missouri after this, but you just went to a top 10 team on the road and had a lot of success. So I think this is a huge weekend, not only for their record, obviously, but I think as far as confidence goes, and I think that it's going to be kind of a role-defining weekend, right? You're going to start seeing things happen. You're going to start seeing guys come out of the bullpen that maybe we haven't seen as much as we wanted to see, and you're going to see these guys start to throw better because they know that they have to. I think offensively you're going to see a lot of the young guys in the lineup again, right? I think you're going to see Ashton Larson start. I think Kling obviously is going to start. I think Bingham's going to be out there. He may go platoon with, not him, but they may platoon Pearson in maybe at DH a couple times. I don't know, but I know that you're going to see – I feel like you're going to see Larson in there. And I don't know about Kucherak. I don't know if you're going to see him in the middle infield. You're going to have a freshman middle infield. Who knows? But I wouldn't be shocked.
That's the big question mark. I really don't know. I couldn't even begin to try to tell you what Jay's going to do with it. But I do think he is going to see some time this weekend. I just don't know if he's going to get the, I guess, Friday night start or if he's going to get maybe the Sunday start or how it's going to go. But it's hard for me to believe that you have a shortstop that's playing the way he did after you have a Sunday off, you have a Monday off, and then you sit him on a Tuesday to play the freshman, to say that he's not going to get in there at all this weekend at some point.
Right. I would imagine he's going to get some time. Lloyd, what do you want to see from this weekend?
Oh, I was going to bring up,
there you go.
When you talk about some of the pitching that you might see from the Tennessee side, the guy that pitched whenever, was it AJ Causey?
Yeah, from Jacksonville State.
No, that's been getting absolutely shelled over his last two outings. The guy that came in for him against Auburn and threw 4 innings, I'm pretty sure it was good enough baseball. All right, Aaron Combs is who came in, and he is a right-handed pitcher from Tennessee, like fastball slider. But that's who you might see get a start. He threw 4 innings after the previous starter got absolutely shut. I don't even think he got off the first against Auburn, but that was his last appearance.
Causey has given up 15 earned runs on 15 hits
innings.
just over 4 innings in his last 2 starts.
Ooh.
That's not great.
And so
that's why he's not starting anymore.
Yeah, that's what Vitello said. I think I'm going to give him I don't think we'll see him on Friday. So if you want to have like a kind of put a pin on a name that you might see, I think Aaron Combs might get kind of that Nate Ackenhausen role, but it would be as a start where let's see if you can go 3 or 4 innings and then we kind of piecemeal it together from there. And if you're –
well, they have another guy too, right? Like the other guy is the Stamos kid, the left-handed pitcher too. Like potentially one or both of those guys you may see on Friday. Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, they're going to have to throw somebody else also. But, I think Combs might get the start. And for the LSU and the pitching – like thing that everybody's I don't know if everybody's talking about it, but since Holman was moved that one time, I think that this is probably more of a Tennessee play that is an LSU play. Like I think it's chess not checkers. Like you see the move, it would be almost, I don't want to say a waste, but it feels Gage Jump is thrown well enough to where he's able to kind of get you a win, you would hope, against a lineup where Tennessee's not starting a guy.
Well, I think, and I'm with you, I think it's more of a matchup thing.
Right.
Like if Drew Bream was starting on Friday, Holman is starting on Friday.
Exactly.
Right? If Drew Bream, or if they had a Friday guy that was good, that's a consistent starter, you would see Holman throw on Friday, right? This isn't, we're going to try to sneak a win. This matchup makes too much sense to not do it this way. Because you're not going to see, at least I don't believe, and I don't think this would be a good thing if you did it, I don't believe you're going to see Luke Holman start this Saturday, and then Jay looks at the lineup and says, okay, their best starter has been on Sunday, so now we're going to start Holman on Sunday the next week, and then the next week, now it's on Friday. You're not going to see that. I think you're going to see Fridays. That's going to be majority of Fridays, or if he has to play a Thursday series too.
Do you think that he's matching Holman up with Beam because he wants to have best on best right there?
I think it's they don't have a guy on Friday yet that they've announced that they have like that Jay's not, I guess, fearful of. And so his whole mindset is, okay, I'm going to throw Gage Jump on this day because they don't have a guy. I feel like my offense is going to be able to score enough and Gage is going to be able to shut them down enough, and they struggle against lefties. And then I'm going to move Holman back a day and say you're going to throw against their number one and you're going to be good on good, and we're going to take our chance of you going into the 6th, 7th inning and dominating. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's, just for whatever reason, perfect example, last week, right, when they played Vanderbilt? Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt weekend. When they played Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt had their Friday night got pushed to Sunday because of rainouts and all that stuff, I don't think you'll ever see LSU do that based off of matchup or any of that.
Right.
It would literally have to be a scheduled thing to do it. Yeah, I think you're either going to see Holman on the probably through the rest of the year. Honestly, it's a good chance you'll see him on either Friday night and or Saturday.
Right.
And based off of who do we think we can get a win off of with him not throwing?
Right, and he's already proven this year that he can start on Thursday, then start the next week on Friday, and then have the Thursday series again and have one less rest day and start then, right? So, like, he's proven that one day is fine. He can deal with that. And so I think Jay's okay with the fact of, okay, he's not going to be on full rest from Saturday if he has to start next Friday, and that's okay, right? And so I know earlier in the season, Jay said he didn't move him because he wanted to start him on full rest. Obviously, things happen throughout the course of the season where you have to change course and you have to change the way you think of things. And I think that I really honestly think this is more of the matchup and more of, hey, if Tennessee had two number one starters basically, Holman's throwing today, right? If they had a guy throwing on Friday today that has been good and you kind of know who's going to be and what he is, I don't think Holman's moving back, right? I think because if they struggle against lefties, they're going to struggle against lefties on Saturday and not just on Friday. And so you do the whole lefty thing on Saturday if the Friday guy was good. Since he's not, or they don't know who he is, okay, let's flip-flop. That's what I think.
Yeah. So, I think it's got a decent bit to do with the arms, but I think it has a whole lot to do with what he probably sees and what they do against lefties. Because I think he understands the urgency of every single game even more so than we probably think he does and or that he ever has in his career and all of that stuff. But I think he understands how tough this league is to get through. And I think he thinks, like, if we can get one on Friday because they're not as potent against lefties, and then we can go into Saturday and beat them with our best on the mound, can we escape out of here with 3? And
right.
On Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, I think that what he's thinking is, like, what is my best way or best opportunity to go and get 3 outings?
Well, and look at Sunday. Their starter on Sunday has been a bullpen guy for the majority of the year. He threw last Sunday as a starter, and then he got announced as a starter this Sunday. So, that guy's not stretched out as a starter, right? He doesn't have the stamina as a starter. And so maybe he's got 4 innings max, or maybe whatever his pitch count is, is not as high as it would be if he was a normal starter. And so you're going to get into that bullpen quicker on Sunday. And if you could do that early on Friday and do that early on Saturday, and you're able to get those starters out and you're able to wear that bullpen down, that sets you up pretty nicely for Sunday to be able to go and say, okay, we're going to be able to win this game. Now, you got to win 1 before you can win 2, before you can win 3, right? The most important thing this weekend is getting 2 out of 3. You've got to win a series. Can't lose 5 straight series. Just can't happen.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
No, that's like Jay has the luxury of able to kind of try to plan out the weekend, if you will. The players don't have that luxury. It's 27 outs. It's every single pitch. It's every single inning. It is literally they have to be living and dying on it, right? But Jay also he's tasked with the job of, I got to be able to do that with my crew as well, right? Because I got to actually coach each and every game and each and every inning. But before I get there, I got to be able to try to see how are we going to get this thing done on a larger scale as well.
Yep. Do we see Jared Jones leading off again?
I think it's possible, man. Like,
why not? Why not? He hit 4 hits with 3 homers.
Hey, nothing else has really, truly worked so far in terms of sparking the lineup. If you had your most complete outing as a team, not even just Jared Jones, as a team kind of offensively on Tuesday, and he was leading off, Jay's got some superstition in him. And I'm not saying he's making a superstition, but it's like, if it ain't broke, maybe I shouldn't try to fix it.
Well, let me ask you this. Why would you lead him off on Tuesday game against McNeese if you weren't planning on doing it more? You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I see him leading off again. Why? I mean, 1, super successful doing it, and
that's
2,
how I feel about Kucherov too.
Yeah,
same thing.
Like, you're not gonna throw Jared Jones, who's been in the lineup all year, into the leadoff spot randomly on a Tuesday if you didn't think that if this works, I'm gonna keep doing this, right? It's the Anthony Rizzo thing in Chicago. Like, that's what it reminds me of, right? Anthony Rizzo, 3-hole guy, hits homers, gets on base at a pretty high clip. First baseman, big dude, not a typical leadoff guy. Joe Madden said, let's change some things up. He ain't afraid. He wasn't afraid to do that. That was one of the managers. I mean, I played in the lineup. That was 8-6-7-5-3-0-9. That was his lineup. right?
And
In
did
spring
it
training.
strictly for the phone number.
Strictly for it. Like that song 867-5309, that was why he did the lineup. And they won, right? But so he's not shy of mixing it up. He throws Rizzo in the leadoff spot, and Rizzo proceeds to hit a bunch of homers and has a great year. Ends up being the leadoff for majority of the year until he feels like the offense in the lineup starts to figure it out. I could see the same thing happening here with Jared Jones. I'm excited to see, outside of Jared, how Paxton Clean continues to build. Right, that's 3 straight games that he's played that he's hit a double in one of the gaps. He had a couple hits on Tuesday. You felt like his luck was starting to change. Dropped the ball, foul ball. A backhand ball in the hole at third base. Probably could have been an error. It was giving him a hit, which was an RBI, which was great for the psyche, right? So I'm interested to see how he handles that and how he continues to project forward because, we've talked about it a lot. He's important to this lineup and important to this team. If he starts to swing it well, I think that changes the whole dynamic.
I think it's about time for us to really get to a Hayden Travinski kind of gets really going. He's by no means am I saying he's having a bad season. By no means am I saying he's slumping or not doing well right now. But boy, it would help this lineup if he gets hot. Right?
Well, and we've seen him get white hot.
We're about that.
Like we've seen him get unbelievably hot, and he hadn't gotten there yet.
Hot right now. I just need you to get up there and be a force.
Yeah.
Right now he's kind of he's right in that middle, kind of below. Like, hey, I know I'm here, but you're not like really respecting.
Yeah,
like,
I hadn't scared you yet. Like, I need to see the Hayden Travinski hitting balls off the scoreboard, dropping the bat. You know what I mean? And that comes when he starts feeling like he's getting hot.
And you know what I know that we know that they know when he hits a ball well and he starts feeling sexy.
Yeah,
that's when everyone in the ballpark is like, oh,
yep.
Yeah, he's in a different spot right now. He's in a different.
Yep. And look, it doesn't mean he's not going to be able to get there, but I'd like to see him get there. They got to play.
It doesn't mean he's doing bad right now. Say it.
Yeah. We talked starters. We talked a little offense. Bullpen. We've got to see these guys out the bullpen throw strikes. Like, they have got to. I would rather them give up 17 home runs.
Which is entirely possible.
Which is maybe possible. But I would rather them give up hits than go 3-0, 2-1, 2-0 to every batter and then end up walking 6-7 guys out of the bullpen. So then when they do give up the homer, that is inevitable at the bandbox that is Tennessee. Instead of it being a solo homer, it's a 2-3, God forbid, grand slam, right? So I need to see the bullpen throw more strikes. I would like to see some guys that maybe we haven't seen a ton of this year maybe get an opportunity to. Maybe, and I know part of the reason why some of them haven't because of strikes, right? Aiden Moffitt, he's not confident enough of him throwing a bunch of strikes, but, boy, he looked good when he throwing 99-mile-an-hour sinkers in the midweek game, right? And he looked good through strikes. I'd like to see Sammy Dutton start throwing a little bit more. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to compete. Guys that are going to be around the zone, maybe that's what you need to kind of get everybody else on board. What do you think?
I would hesitate myself to put it on just the bullpen. I want to put it on the entire pitching staff.
No, right.
Not to narrow this thing down, but for me, like, when you look at the stats on the year, first off, it's Arkansas it is goofy what they're doing as a pitching staff right now because they are head, shoulders, knees, toes above everybody else, right? But LSU's second in the league in strikeouts, but they're first in the league in walks.
Yep.
So the ability is there. If you start challenging the strike zone and you start executing pitches even more, what's the ceiling for this group? That's what I want to see. So I'm challenging the whole staff because let's be honest, outside of Holden, we're not getting any other starters that are going out there giving you 5 2/3, that are going out there giving you 6 1/3, that are going out there giving you 7 straight, right? We're not getting anyone else to do it. So for me, I can't just put it on the bullpen. I need to see them all show up.
Agreed. Lloyd, you got anything to say?
There is a little bit of a rumor in the chat.
Hey.
He said the boys on OTB, which is
off the bench
with T-Bob and Hester, this morning said that Jay, they speak with him every week, hinted at Gavin playing in the field this weekend a little bit, Cade in the outfield to get more pitchers on the road.
Cade in the outfield?
I don't know why he said that, but I think it was more interesting about the Gavin bit of him being maybe
But
playing
what
in the
Cade
field.
are we talking about?
I don't know.
In the outfield.
That's the Boston special. I'm just reading from the chat because I
Okay,
haven't
that's
heard
fine.
this. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
No, I mean, look, that was brought up. Do we see him playing the infield? I mean, I can't imagine he's been doing a lot of hitting
That's what I would think.
or a lot of ground balls.
That's what I would think.
So is that the move, or would you rather throw the guy in there that has been getting the hitting, doing the hitting, and fielding ground balls and getting those reps? Look, he came in as a shortstop. I would like to see him play the field, but that'd be a wild move.
Hey, Jay for damn sure ain't pitching off of what we say and trying to go opposite of what we say, but he ain't missing right now.
No, complete opposite. Listen, if he plays, I hope he does well. I just don't know. I guess I'm not at practice. I don't see what's going on. He could very well be hitting BP and fielding ground balls.
Bro, if he plays and has a 500 weekend and hits 3 homers, I'm the happiest dude for him.
Right.
But I would put my money on that happening this weekend. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, he may be taking live ABs, he may be taking ground balls, but he's also we were told that he is doing majority, basically he's a pitcher this year. And so,
right.
I don't know. But that'd be wild. That'd be definitely a shakeup right there.
That would be a shakeup. That is one way to put it. Also, I wanted to get your thoughts on somebody else in the chat was asking why hasn't Gavin even been pitching recently? Any news on that, or is it just strictly a matchup thing?
I don't know. Jay, you want to get on that one?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, we kind of hinted on this a little bit on Wednesday, but for whatever the reason be, he just hasn't been as sharp as he was last year. Last year, there was no fall of him throwing. Last year, there was no early season of him actually being an active pitcher. I'm wondering if some of that is him kind of going through that little bit of a dead arm, little bit of a drag in the season. It's like, hey, can we get him a little bit of a break to get him back, let him catch his breath and get him back going? I don't know. And it's weird. I know people really like, but you have to understand, he hasn't done this thing like that, right? He came into this thing as a two-way guy. He didn't pick up a ball in the fall last year. He came into the season as a pitcher. He didn't pick up a bat this year. So it's been one of those, it's a weird spot for him right now.
Yeah, and look, it could be, part of it could be the book's out on him. They've seen him. Last year, nobody knew what you were going to get on the mound. I know you say, we pitched enough to where they knew what they were going to see. But, yeah, you know what you're going to see until you see it, and then you don't. It may look different on film as opposed to real time. And so now you're seeing a lot of these teams that have had experience watching him in real time, scout more of an in-depth scouting report, and so maybe they're kind of making some adjustments. And maybe this is Jay's way of saying, hey, take a step back. Let's not let's reevaluate what we're doing. What's going wrong? Maybe he had, like Jay said, maybe he has a little bit of a dead arm. There's a lot of reasons why we haven't seen him. It's all hands on deck this weekend.
I also don't have the numbers on this, but just off the naked eye, from what I've seen of him this year, I felt like when he got on the mound last year, it was a bulldog, and you saw him attack the shit out of the zone. And he was in the zone a ton, and he was able to expand the zone last year. I haven't seen that same fastball command. I haven't seen him be able to land the slider at will like he kind of did last year, right? So maybe the book is out, but he's also not as sharp as he was.
Right, and that's the big thing. With a guy who's not going to throw high 90s fastball with swing and miss fastball, you've got to have pinpoint accuracy, and you've got to be able to land your other stuff. And which is he did that so well last year. He has not done that well so far this year, and I think that'd be a big thing for him as well. But look, you're going to see a lot of the guys you saw early in the season throw. You're going to see everybody that's available. It hadn't worked, right? They haven't thrown enough strikes. So who's going to throw them? If you prove to me you're going to be able to throw strikes a game, you're going to be able to pitch. I don't care if you give up 2 runs. If you throw strikes and you get ahead of guys, you're going to throw. You're going to pitch.
How much would you have to put up offensively in this game in particular to not see a Griffin Herring or a Nate Ackenhausen where it would be?
I think if the game, it has to be if it's at 5 runs or above 5 runs, you don't see him. Anything 5 runs or below, I think you see Griffin Herring. The Nate Ackenhausen thing's a whole different conversation.
Because he's
2 innings max. Do not throw him over 2 innings. Because after the third
inning, I think Griffin's in a spot where depending on how late you have to insert him, you could possibly kind of tease your way down to 4 runs. Right? I think that's possible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would say it's pretty safe if we get to 5. You are trying your damnedest to not have to actually ask him to take the jacket off and go down in the bench.
Yeah. I think 5 runs, he comes in if somebody gets on base, hey, end this thing. Like, don't even let them gain momentum because at that field, 5 runs could feel like 2, because the ball just flies out of the park so much.
But here's the question. What if you never get to 5 and literally you're sitting at 4 and it's been a comfortable lead, you're controlling the game, the guys that are on the mound are throwing strikes, they're challenging hitters, and I don't know what that 4 is. Maybe it's maybe it's 9-5, maybe it's who knows, maybe it's 5-1 or something like that. But what if you feel like you have this thing in control when it doesn't get to 5, but it's at 4?
I still think that you throw him in. I mean, for me, I think that he's gonna do everything he needs to do to win the game without, even if he feels that way. I'm looking at Tennessee's lineup, right? And Blake Burke, who's been there for a little bit, is hitting .410 with 19 doubles, 11 homers, and 30 RBIs. They have an outfielder, Kavaris Tiers, is hitting .410. He has 8 doubles, 10 homers. Dylan Drilling, outfielder, has 40 RBIs, and Christian Moore, who we watched last year, leads the team with 13 homers. So I know it's a bandbox, and so my point in saying that is just, I don't want to even give them an opportunity to feel like they're back in the game. Even so, and to me, 4 runs, you get a guy on base, 2-run homer, boom, it happens quick. And so I think that he'd just say, this game's so important. You go out and finish it. Even if I feel like it's in hand, because I know it can get out of hand real quick. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking, but that just seems like the thought process of hey, we have to win game 1, especially with throwing Gage jump.
Do you think in the case – oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, yeah, I think Griffin's high priority tonight, but I also think you approach him with caution because I do think Jay is thinking, man, I would love to get out of here with 2 or 3 wins. And if I can somehow save him in any kind of way, even though win number 1 is most important.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely. And that's when you say, hey, offense, I need you to go out there and get a big lead. I need you to go out there and do it. We're going to figure this thing out in the back end. We're going to get to game 1. Then you got our big dog throwing game 2. We're going to let him, hey, Luke, this is your game, bud. You got to lock it in. I need you to take this game. I need you to have all the weight on your shoulders on this game. I need you to go out there and I need you to throw a good one because this series matters. And you're gonna carry us through game 2, right? And then game 3, it's like, hey, boys, you got a freshman on the bump potentially. This is the time where we can separate ourselves and we can put ourselves back in a position during the season where we can reach majority of our goals. You ain't gonna win the SEC. You go and you sweep this weekend and you go on the road against next weekend and you say, I'm not saying another sweep, but you go and you win a couple games next week. You go 5-1 in these next 6 games. Now all of a sudden you're 8-12 going into the easier part of your schedule. You put yourself back into the conversation where you can get over that 15-win mark in the SEC.
So then that's my question to you. So in your mind, as long as you have a chance to win the game tonight, outside of it not being out of hand one way or the other, Griffin Herring's throwing tonight.
Unless I think it's over 5 runs. Right? I think
that's what I'm saying.
I think if the lead's over 5 runs, he's not throwing, obviously. But if the lead's 5 runs or less,
that's out of hand. I'm talking about in a decent game because let's be honest, Holman's throwing up a couple quote unquote kind of stinkers too. What if you can save it? Like, what if you just got 16 runs from that offense?
I'm with you.
And they look good at doing it too. So what if you're getting those kind of at bats again tonight where you're like, I like where my offense is at. I think this is going to keep going. I don't want to make him have to throw tonight.
Yeah, right.
I'm with.
I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. If you're asking what I would do, I would throw him if it's a tight game or if it's a game that even if you feel like you're in control, I'm throwing him to get that dub, regardless. That's what I would do. He may think differently. Obviously, I would like to save him, but if I had to make that decision, I'm throwing Griffin Herring tonight. I would like to see him start, but it seems like he wants him in that role on the weekends, and I think getting game 1 is super important. So I would throw him in that situation.
Does this caution you at all, considering of where you're going to play and the size of the field, that Nate has given up 6 home runs this year and Coleman has given up 4? Are those two guys that you're almost like,
yeah, but I don't know how much you're going to see of Coleman this weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would. Well, I was just thinking of the Sunday game.
If he's not starting, I'll tell you that. If he starts on Sunday,
you're turning it off.
I would be shocked, like shocked, if he started on Sunday. And this is no disrespect to Javen. Like, I think Javen's got a lot of talent, but as a starter,
I'm laughing at Logan literally just asking you if you're turning the TV off just if he starts.
Can't do it.
Like,
that's so ridiculous.
As a starter, he just has not been effective. He may be more effective out of the bullpen for an inning or a batter or two.
But you're turning the TV off.
Yeah,
I may.
If it works.
Shit, I may. I mean, I may put on mute maybe.
Yeah,
start walking around. Maybe I'll put it on my phone and have the message on TV while that's going on. I don't know.
I mean, I've done some crazy things for an LSU baseball game. I watched a game in the kitchen last year and I couldn't even watch the TV. Every time something good happened, I was in the kitchen, so I just set up shop in there and just listened to it. So I've done some things that I think obviously helped the team win, but I was just bringing those up because of the proclivity to give up home runs against a team like Tennessee. And if you get out to a 5-run lead and then you put insert Ackenhausen or whoever, and it's can quickly go from a 5-run lead to a 2-run lead, and you don't have any outs, and it's like, okay, now you're back in a fight.
Let me ask you
where
this.
You got a quality start from jump.
How many walks does Ackenhausen have right now?
How many walks? 11.
In how many innings?
He has pitched 21.
Okay. And how many walks does Javen Coleman have right now?
Javen Coleman walks is 14.
How many innings?
20.
Okay. So my point in saying that is it's not so much that I'm nervous about them giving up the homer. I'm nervous about them walking a guy or two and then giving up the homer. I can live with a solo home run here and there. I don't want the 3-run homers. And that's what's been killing us, right? The big homers. So I don't want the walks. I think that you could throw him in there as a 1-inning guy, Ackenhausen I'm talking about, and let him go do his thing. But I wouldn't be as concerned about him giving up the homer as opposed to him walking and then giving up the homer. I'm good with solos. What you smiling about?
Are you turning it off or are you keeping it?
Hey, if Ackenhausen's pitching, I'm keeping it on. I'm keeping it off anybody's pitching. You know what I mean? I would just be very surprised if Jay hasn't given a lot of runway to a lot of guys who have struggled consistently over the last 2 or 3 starts, right? Like, or outings. There's not a long runway that he's historically given to these guys. And so that's part of the reason why I would be surprised.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with you.
Now, everybody looks at Ackenhausen's numbers and like, oh, he's been bad. And I'm like, listen, I get that. The numbers aren't great. But he's been pretty good for an inning.
2 innings.
You know, maybe 2 in a game. It's that 3rd inning or the going into that 3rd inning that he starts to falter. I don't know. 1 inning out of him I think would be fine.
I think you can stretch him to 2.
Here's the thing too.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing too that about Ackenhausen, which is, if I remember correctly, like last year he started out looking really good, had the injury, was out for a while, and then back into the season he comes back on and they were able to extend him in these outings that he had. Maybe he's in that kind of like middle section where he can't get over that like you said, the 3rd inning, that 40 to 60 pitch hump yet. Well, maybe it's there. Because let's be honest, like, hey, if you did what you did for me last year in the College World Series and you were able to go out there and throw, the leash is a little bit longer. And I've seen you do it before. So we can't act like he can't do it. We know he can do it, right? It's when will it come? Because if we're being honest, it didn't come on until late last year anyway. So maybe that's kind of where he's getting to. I don't know. I'm with y'all. I haven't liked what I've seen out of him once we've gotten to that 40 to 60 pitch range. But I don't know if I'm the coach, knowing what I trusted you with last year, to sit here and say I'm yanking it from you already.
Right. Well, that's why his leash has been longer than most, because he's seen him do it.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that he says he trusts the most on the team. But right. I do think that with that trust has come almost putting him in a spot where he doesn't really have as much experience as you're probably trying to squeeze out of him, where it's, all right, go back out there and do it again. And I think of the Florida game mostly, where it's like, I don't trust any of these other guys in the bullpen, because when I go down the list of names,
that was his best start.
Yeah,
that was his best outing.
It was.
And then he gave up the strikeout. Which, listen, things
that's
happen.
baseball.
Baseballs happen, right? But then you gave up the hit, extra innings, kept him out there, and you give up the homer. So, like, yeah, it's just.
But if
that game goes differently, though, I bet you the dynamic of this season's
a little bit different.
Way different.
But if you go down the list of other guys, like if you let's take out Griffin Herring and, for argument's sake, Nate Ackenhausen, who is somebody that you would expect to come out of the bullpen?
Lefty or righty?
Lloyd, I'm glad you're bringing it up, and I think that's another big reason as to why they have had to try to get that late season magic that they got out of the last much earlier, because it's, well, who else are we counting on?
Right.
Who else has showed up? Who else has given us big innings? Who else has given us clutch performances?
Right. Nobody's done it, right? Like, Ulloa you hadn't seen him a ton, right?
Right.
I mean, Lure has not been good, since he's been here.
I think that's why you brought him here.
Of course, that's why you brought him here.
To fill this role.
Absolutely. That's exactly why you brought him here. He's a swing guy.
He brought him to get outs, and he's not gotten outs at the rate that they expected him to get out so far.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean,
because there was a question in the chat of one name that we have failed to mention yet, but it's somebody we talk about a lot, and that would be one Thatcher Hurd.
I mean, Thatcher's going to pitch.
I'm just wondering, he's in what capacity?
Out the bullpen. He ain't they're not putting him back into the starter role.
That I don't know.
He's going to pitch out the bullpen. I don't know, but those two guys you brought up are lefties. So now you have to fill that role of, hey, take Griffin Herring out and take Ackenhausen out. Now who's your lefty that you're confident throwing out of the bullpen? You're not super confident with Javen. Now, look, maybe Javen for out the bullpen, clean inning, one out, one appearance, one inning is good. Maybe. Starting, not great so far. Cam Johnson hasn't been good yet. But Lure hasn't been good. You got to find somebody to fill those roles, and I don't know what that answer is, but I think Thatcher's going to pitch. Definitely going to pitch this weekend. He's just he's got.
I mean, you have to have other guys step up, but that just is what it is. I think we're hanging a little bit too much of this on Ackenhausen.
Yep.
Hanging a little bit too much of this on the Guidries and the guys that we got comfortable seeing last year, because we've been waiting on other guys to step up and actually fill these roles and not have to make these guys go for as long as they have, especially this early in the year. So there has to be some other guys who step up, they take the role, they take the ball, and they just get the shit done. That's where it has to be. And I'm not saying it has to be new guys. I'm not saying it has to be the same. But Jay's got to find, much like the lineup, same thing with the staff is, sooner or later, I got to find my guys, and I got to keep giving it to them, and they're going to have to perform if we want to be good. It's really that simple.
Yeah. Tennessee last year at the midway point of the SEC was 5-10. Everybody was wondering what was going on with Tennessee. Super talented in Omaha. LSU is 3-9 right now. LSU goes and wins this series. They're 5-10 at the midway point of the season. So it looks bad now. Teams have done it. Teams have turned it around. Teams have figured it out. They're not going to figure it out until they do some of the stuff that we had talked about or figure out who those roles are. Because, you've been trying to figure it out and you've been trying to mix and match. You've been trying to throw guys in there, and nobody has taken that role and nobody has been super successful. Somebody needs to do that. If not, it's going to continue to go this way throughout the rest of the year. How do we think the weekend's going to go?
Know what the Tennessee beat writers think, as I was doing some research on.
They think they're going to sweep us?
No, 2 of 3. They think the Holman game is where they
think LSU is going to
lose 2 of 3. Tennessee is going to take 2 of 3, but
I like that.
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah, they think Holman is their answer for it's the game that LSU will win, and then they're going to be able to piece together 1 and 3. But in my mind, it's hard to say anything other than almost agree with them. I don't know what you've seen differently. That when we come on this show every week and we say LSU's going to win 2 of 3, LSU's going to win 2 of 3. It hasn't happened yet this season. So in my mind, I don't know why you would think anything differently other than prove it to me.
I agree.
Stop making me think that you can win 2 of 3 because I haven't seen you do it.
And we like to mush people, so I think one.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say it's going to be a 2 or 3 win. But what I do think is actually going to happen, and then what the results of it that's going to come, that's what we're trying to figure out because we haven't seen it yet. But I do think you're going to see at least 2 decently high-scoring ball games. Now it becomes, whenever we get to these high-scoring ball games, can we have a shutdown inning when we need it? Can we get a 2-out base hit with runners in second, third? Right? Can we start doing those things in the pressure?
Can we make the defensive play to not give up an extra out?
We start making those plays later in the game that we haven't really done all season. And those have been the reasons why we've lost game after game after game that we maybe should have won, that we were in, that we were up on at one point. Like, those are the things we haven't seen them do yet. But I would imagine a 5-10 Tennessee, they were probably doing similar things at that point too, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're going to win 2 or 3. I'm not going to give you that because I haven't seen them do that. I haven't seen them get to the other side of those things yet.
Yep.
But I do think at least 2 of these games are going to be high-scoring ball games.
I'm gonna say, do I think they win the series? I think they can. I think that I'm gonna say 1 and 2, because I'd like to go I've been too on the high side. I'd rather be on the low side. Prove it to me. It's a prove it to me weekend. Hey, you know what's going on. Y'all are talented. Let's go ahead and win some games. I think that I'm very intrigued about this Friday game. I'm intrigued by how Gage Jump's gonna throw, but I'm also intrigued by how the offense is going to attack it. And I think if the offense comes out swinging, right, and scoring some runs and putting some pressure, maybe not even scoring runs in the first couple innings, but putting pressure on Tennessee and getting pitch counts up of guys that you're trying to piece it together, and if you can force them to throw a bunch of different guys, I think that you have a chance to win game 1, right? But it also is going to set you up very well for the rest of the weekend.
Because what you don't want to see is going into Tennessee, you know it's going to be hostile, you know that place is going to be packed out, and then you have Gage Jump, who hasn't been your Friday night guy, go on Friday and then give up a crooked number in the first inning, and now this thing is tail spinning out of control, and you're like, well, this is what you didn't want to happen. You could have thrown Holman and then kind of kept this thing in check, because there's a possibility of that because of how they're able to hit the ball at the park. So that is what if you have any reservations about this weekend, or at least about tonight, that's the one thing you can't have happen is Tennessee get up early, because you have an opportunity with Gage Jump to actually jump on them and be able to all right, they kind of mailed this one in. LSU's up 6-0.
And it could very well go the opposite direction of what I'm saying, right? If Gage Jump doesn't get off, if they get off to the hot start and Gage Jump doesn't get out of the first or second inning, now all of a sudden LSU's got to use their bullpen, and it does not set them up well for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, because you could end up burning one of your arms if you still think you can salvage a game if it happens early, and then they don't get out of the inning, and now you're down. Maybe you're down, you go Jump and then Herring, and you try to get out of a situation, and then that doesn't work, and now you're kind of screwed yourself for the rest of the weekend.
Main thing for me, offense today needs to come out aggressive. Pitchers just need to throw strikes. Just work ahead of counts, please.
You need this is I'm telling you, dude, this is a graduation weekend, man. Like, people got to start stepping up. Like, you got to start answering the bell. Hey, Gage, if you give up 3 in the first, give me 4 shutout. Hey, if you get shut down by the starter, and as soon as you get him out, put up a cricket number out. Like, it's graduation weekend. I don't know how it's going to go, but you're going to have to – it's not going to be easy. It's a good ball club. They're at home. It's going to be a rowdy crowd. They're playing well. It ain't going to be – it's just not going to be roses, right? Like, there's going to be some tough points. Graduate to the other side and start being the team that gets it done.
Do you think that there's a world where Jay is the way that who's our guy that we had on from D1 Baseball?
Mike Rooney. Yeah,
Coach Rooney put it, was Jay's a over manager, and he didn't use the term as a slight. He just said he likes to manage the baseball game. You call it a graduation game. Is there a way where you see Jay kind of, y'all go do it. I'm not going to go bail you out. I'm not moving pitchers. I'm not taking Gage Jump out if you get in trouble. Like, this is on y'all. There's nothing I can do to fix it.
Well, he's basically said that in the media. Like, it's
if I say this, we've seen tidbits from him. Yeah, we've seen tidbits from him, and kind of when you watch him with the team, when you kind of take some notes from the things that he said in the media, I think Jay's got that in. When does it happen? I don't know. Does it happen this weekend? I don't know. But I do think there is some to him. Hey, step up and get it done to him. And I wonder if it's going to be this weekend.
Because you saw it happen whenever they got into a tight spot last year. You saw it happen with Thatcher against Georgia, where he's like, I'm not pulling you out of this baseball game. LSU was in a kind of many, I guess, had as much adversity as they had faced up to that point in that year. And he said, Thatcher, I'm not pulling you out. Like, go find it. Go win us a baseball game, because otherwise you're never going to be in this. You're never going to learn from the situation. I just don't know if it's almost too late in the year to change your management style.
Yeah, well, see, like, for me, it's hard to draw from his quote-unquote management style and how he dealt with that team. That team was way more better. That team had a way better record. They had games to play with, if you will. This team doesn't have that. I don't know. We saw him do that with Thatcher, but name another spot or another position he really had to do that at last year. I don't know one. So I don't know how he's going to go about doing that stuff this year when you're kind of underperforming a lot of places, and you obviously are not where you want to be in the standings. That's a completely different situation, a completely different way of coaching a team. And the mark of a really good coach is understanding what this team needs and how do I need to tailor it to coach these guys. I can't coach the same way across the board and think I'm going to get the same different units.
All right. So with that said, what's your prediction on the weekend? 1 and 2?
Me?
Yeah. You said 1 and 2. I said 1 and 2.
I said 1 and 2.
You
Jay?
said 1 and 2. Right, Jay?
Are we all 1 and 2s?
Now, this is my last weekend going 2 and 1, and if it just can't happen this weekend, I do.
We need some positive. We need somebody to be positive on here. I like that. Usually it's me.
Yes, and
I decided not to do it because I have obviously gone the opposite direction of where I normally do, and it has not worked out well for me. So why not change something?
And I do think there's a world, obviously, where it is a 2-1, 3-0 for LSU, but they haven't done enough for me to want to say that and put it out there as my actual prediction. But I do think this is a series that is winnable. Like, to put it on both sides, I don't think LSU's completely lost or a rudderless ship. I think it's, all right, prove it, but there's a world where, especially when you have the way that Tennessee set up their pitching, where Gage Jump goes, pitches well, then you have Holman, and you get a chance to get 2 wins, and then you feel great, obviously, about taking a series. Like, all right, well, let's get one more, and, like, let's really get this thing rolling.
I think if Gage Jump can get through 5 innings today, it would be huge. Huge. Offense is going to put up some numbers, I think. I mean, better. It's an offensive field. They should, right? Hopefully Tommy White hits 5 home runs this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, he does something crazy. Bear Jones, obviously, is feeling pretty good about himself at the plate right now. I think you're going to see Larson. Kling's starting to swing it better. So let's use this weekend as a jump start offensively. Score some runs.
If it's Kling and Larson, who's your Bingham? Okay. When you look at LSU going to Tennessee, do you change? Like, do you think that they see the value of the home run differently? Like, are you, because of the way LSU's played and how they hit home runs at home, and Alex Box is a much bigger field, and obviously it's kind of dictated by the wind. But with some of these swings that you're taking, do they turn into good swings at Tennessee where you're like, all right, maybe this offense has more pop, it's just in a different spot?
No, I think a good swing is a good swing no matter where they have it.
You can almost get away with a couple now.
Yeah, but LSU, I mean, that's bad swings.
Yeah.
You can get away with maybe some jam shot homers, but I don't think that's the big thing. I think LSU is like 4th in the SEC or 5th in the SEC in home runs. So it's not like they have not been able to hit home runs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if they had been playing in Tennessee's ballpark all year, if that was their home field, how many do you think that they would have? Like,
I mean, maybe a little bit more for sure. I mean, you know, that's hard to say, but yeah, I would imagine a little bit more. I mean, there's been a couple balls on the track that, you know, got caught that probably should be homers, but it's not like LSU's playing at Petco Park where the ball doesn't fly.
Right.
You know, so that's not something that I would really put too much emphasis on. But the lineup, the outfielders in the lineup have all the ability in the world to hit homers. You know, Kling only has 1, but he's got some juice, right? Bingham's got 8, and Larson in limited at bats has 2. So, you know, and he's put together. He just missed hitting another homer last week. So, you know, we'll see. I think the offense is going to have a good weekend, though. Jay, you agree?
Wow.
I think the offense is going to have a good. I think for them to win, they have to have a good weekend. I don't care how much they give up or how much they don't give up. The offense has to show up this weekend.
Yep. Why'd you say wow?
I'm looking for the Okay, LSU plus 170 on the money line.
You gonna do it?
Yeah, of course. This is the one. Me,
Who'd
and
you bet for the Masters?
I have Tiger, obviously. Said that
throw
pick.
some on him.
Yeah,
What's he doing
always.
now? What's he doing now?
I will never not put Tiger. If
I'll
he's
look it up.
playing golf,
I'll look it up. Keep telling me who you got.
I have Tiger, Scheffler, and then I forgot who else I put in there, but those are the two in contention that I have. Or I guess Scheffler's the one in contention. Oh, I Koepka, but he didn't play as well as I thought.
Well, you still got day 2. So
Still got
Shambo
time.
7 under, Homa 6 under, Scheffler 6 under. He was 7 under, just bogeyed. Where is Tiger at? Tiger's still 1 over.
I love
Through
that.
16. He's battling, coach.
Keep grinding. He missed his birdie opportunity at 15.
I know, but he
imagine.
parred.
Yeah.
So he's still 1 over. He's settled in on the back half. I think he's been even on the back half.
He looked so good yesterday.
I mean,
I know he didn't score it well, but that's some of the toughest conditions I've ever seen.
it's still super windy. It's windier probably. It's going to continue to be windy all weekend, which is crazy.
And that's what
I played tough conditions yesterday morning.
Yeah.
I tried to get you to come with me.
What time did you play?
8 o'clock.
No, I wouldn't have been able. I maybe caught you on the back half.
Well, I asked you. That's why I asked you. Are you doing the show in the morning?
Yeah.
If you weren't, I was gonna say, come on. I finished. It was great. I finished by 11:15,
That's perfect.
and then I got to do all my work.
Yeah. People don't know that you can do that. It's okay to go to the golf course as long as you go early.
And you have emails and everything. It's
yeah.
great.
And another person that I picked this morning because I read a story about DeChambeau, how he's 3D printed his own irons that he designed himself, and just got them conformed by the USGA on Monday and put them in the bag on Thursday.
Wow, and he's going low.
And so he found something with his swing speed.
Well, he
and
just bogeyed.
And the way that they described the irons was insane. And he basically put a driver face, like the technology of like the way that the club is shot. You know how the face looks on a driver, where it twist face, where if you hit it off the toe, it kind of saves it from going too far left. If you hit off the heel, it goes too far right. He put 2 metal rods in the iron that saves his misses, so he feels like he can swing as hard as he wants. Which, if he built this in a lab and he's a physicist, whatever he thinks he is.
Wow. It's working for him, though.
Trust his own technology and let him go just swing it like an absolute crazy person out there.
It's crazy.
Did you see him do the
hat tip?
Yeah, it was going to be my mistake of the day. That's an unbelievable move. You know how uncomfortable and awkward you have to be to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I took my hat off on it. It wasn't the final round at Augusta. He acted like he was going to get hugs and handshakes.
Why did he? I mean, I guess it's round 1.
Yeah, people have shot 65 at Augusta before.
Yeah, it wasn't a low. It wasn't like you
shot
shot the
58
record. Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was
Even
bizarre.
if you shot 58 on Thursday, I could tolerate that.
Yeah.
You shot 65, dude.
Give him back.
You shot 65, and then it got harder after you were done.
Yeah. You
know
got
what I
the
mean?
lucky part of the day.
Yeah, you got the good part.
That was mind-blowing. And then Jordan Spieth has absolutely lost his mind.
Yeah, he's having a bad one.
Yeah.
Yep, he's having a bad one. He's, 7 over, maybe more.
Carter at a 9.
9 over. Wow. All right.
There's your Masters update.
There's your Masters update. I love
doing
Homa.
it. Me too.
I love Homa. What we got?
Homosexual?
You got you got. Wow. All right. You got you're an idiot. Mistake of the day is you. It's brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place. What we got?
The mistake of the day is brought to you by Dozy Place. I'm scrolling to find it. Mistake of the day is sorry to all the people in Tennessee, as the Tennessee legislature passes bill banning marriage between first cousins. The Republican-led Tennessee legislature has overwhelmingly voted to send the Republican governor, Bill Lee, a proposal that would ban marriage between first cousins. The State House cast a 75-2 vote on Thursday on the bill after it previously approved it without opposition. This is a mistake. The one Republican representative, Gino Bolso, took up most of the debate time as he argued for an amendment to allow first cousin marriages if the couple first seeks counseling from a genetic counselor, citing his grandparents who were first cousins when they got married but didn't know it.
Wow.
It's hard to kowtow.
Well, all right.
Yeah, I mean, love is love. I'm all for it. But it's hard to stand up there and kind of kowtow for inbreeding. But do you, man.
That's tough.
And it sounds like he might probably, if you care this much about it,
you may be doing it.
You may be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and LSU gets to go to Tennessee, so you'll see a whole new state.
Oh, you got that.
They're going to try to get it all out before this bill passes.
You got that Bryson DeChambeau stuff from our guy Joe Pompliano, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm reading exactly his tweet right now.
Dude,
I put you on that. Isn't he not one of the best follows?
Yeah, and he's accurate, which I love. I don't feel like I'm getting fooled all the time when I'm reading the internet.
Right.
But, that I went down an absolute wormhole after I saw that. I was Googling, trying to find pictures of the irons. I couldn't. They have a website where they're going on sale. It's a one independent company, but it's not the ones that he's playing. It's just kind of the same idea. But his are like one of one, made for him, by him, which is insane. He went to Japan to send them the model of how to do it, and they're like, this is impossible. And he's like, no, it's not. Like, nothing's like what the guy that reps Bryson goes, welcome to working with Bryson DeChambeau, and he got it figured out 3 days before the Masters started.
Wow.
It's insane.
Let me ask you, before I go to our curtain calls, let me ask you, do you believe this is true? I'm reading this right now on Twitter. And it's from ML Football, which is, I'm making sure that I'm not getting duped. It says, your home for everything football, credentialed media.
Keep going.
I'm trying to go through and give some validation.
Well, just tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if it's true or not.
So there's two things. This count is coming at OJ a little bit. So 13 minutes ago, he says a woman is now claiming before O.J. Simpson can graduate from USC, the university paid off two families of two blonde white girls. Huh?
She had to sign an NDA.
Right. Not only did they have to sign an NDA, they are also saying that all of his kids and visitors who came to the bedside had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. His family was not allowed to have their phones in the room while saying their goodbyes via ABC.
Yeah, I believe that.
Wow.
Because you didn't want the real – I mean, because he's
doubt.
dead.
He's guilty, obviously.
Or he's not dead at all, and he's just peacing out.
That, you're going too far.
Because y'all know what happened in there. It's like Michael Jackson could still be alive.
You're going too far. He's dead. But that's crazy. It's wild. All right. Jay.
That girl said she changed her profession because of that.
What's your curtain calls? Curtain calls brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners. What we got? Me?
I got one. It's a very, very. So these boys these days are getting pretty bold when it comes to draft time, and all these people that continue to ask questions and continue to go all over the place about what they're doing. But I'm trying to find it again because I saw this earlier. That's what I was literally just doing. So my fault on that. But I love what Malik is doing when they keep slotting him at that 6th spot to go to the Giants. And Malik is like, hey, man, listen, in a nutshell, who's throwing the rock to me? So why would I want to go there? But, yeah, I want to kind of get drafted as high as possible. Boys are getting real bold these days about, hey, I'm trying to get to a spot where I can go succeed and not just kind of be in a spot. I like it. And I like the way he's kind of going about it in a sense where it's not disrespectful. But this is also my career as well. You know what I mean? So I want to give a curtain call to that of understanding how to navigate those waters without being disrespectful to anyone, but also understanding that I want to go and be successful as well, and I want to do my due diligence and putting myself in the best position to do that possible.
It's a player empowerment.
No doubt. I like that because people they're not scared. They're not scared to say their mind. But look, I mean, it's a different world. Everybody's got a voice now. Their voice, like media means thing. Like you have social media and all of those things. You can say what you want. Yeah, it's a crazy time. You can kind of control the narrative.
I think it's smart because you get tied to these franchises, especially at the quarterback position, where like these franchises are no good. Like, they're not – I can't save it. I'm going to go in as a rookie and go into a bad situation and possibly get put in a spot where my career can never take off. Like, Zach Wilson was put in a terrible spot for the Jets.
Right.
You never know if he's good. Like, he'll never get a chance because now he's labeled as bad and a bust.
If you're not being disrespectful, like legit not being disrespectful, and you can figure out a way to navigate your way around questions and conversations when you get asked these kind of things – what quarterback that's picking in the 6th spot or top 10 wouldn't want to add a Malik Neighbors? So how mad are they really going to be if they draft him and he comes there anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he ain't going to sit there and say something disrespectful about you, hey, kudos for you to say, like, no, I'm not really on that move.
Right. No disrespect. It's just the obvious what's going on.
if I had a horseshit senior year, would you want them to be taking me right now? Or
right.
I say senior year, but my last year, would you want to be taking me at that spot?
Right.
So you'd probably be saying the same thing. If I got drafted, is it good? So what's the difference?
Yep, for sure.
News.
Oh, news. Love news.
Tennessee has announced a starter.
There we go. Who is it?
Their starter will be Chris Stamos.
The other guy.
Trying to confirm if there's any
John's cousin.
Yeah, I was about to say no relation to John as of now, but he is from Pasadena, California.
Maybe he is related
Maybe
to
so.
John.
He's not nearly the looker, but good luck, Chris.
Yeah, so that was the other guy we mentioned after, like John Stamos, and I'm gonna call him John Stamos all weekend. Stamos, and who was the other guy you said?
I've already forgotten.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's Chris Stamos and Aaron Combs was the guy you talked about.
Yeah.
So, you may see both of them, but all right, Chris Stamos, lefty. They're going with a lefty.
Because the only reason I know this is because I was about to put in a bet and the odds changed. LSU plus 195 now on the money line.
Oh, they like Chris Stamos.
Yeah, they must know something about him that we don't.
Yeah, they like Chris Stamos. Well, we shall see. My curtain call. Before I get to curtain call, did y'all see the Allen Iverson statue?
No.
This could have been a mistake of the day. Jared, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
It is like 7 inches tall. Barstool Sports posted it.
What?
I mean, it is. He's like looking. He's like, damn. That's all I got.
Wait, which one is it? Is it this one of him just standing there?
It's the one of him doing a crossover.
The crossover is just little.
Yeah, it's tiny. So me, it's tiny.
It's like a jump.
Look at him. He's like, he's taller than it's standing up.
I mean, the statue would have been awesome. That's a great idea to do the AI crossover, but why is it so little?
I don't know. But all right, my curtain call is to my beautiful wife. She turned 28 years old yesterday. I probably shouldn't have said her age, but
yeah.
She's she's stressed about turning 28. I said I'd give a lot of money to go back to be 28.
She doesn't even know the half of it.
Nope.
30 is going to be a tough day for you.
Well, I'm already planning, saving money away and making it special. We're gonna go somewhere cool.
Why do girls care so much about their age?
I don't know. Listen, I wish I was back to 28. I feel great. Still feel great at 34. We had a nice dinner at Gino's last night.
So you had a tough workout this morning?
Tough workout. Carrie's
doing it.
Doesn't have the parameters of F45 on the Friday workouts. Similar style, just not the parameters of the structure. She makes it up, and that makes it way harder. Just on the Friday. I only do the Friday. I'm not talking about the. What's that?
You're just a mad scientist on Friday?
Oh, dude, it's and I wasn't going to. I was literally walking into the stable today to go work out, do actual weights. And then I was like, damn, it's Friday. She teaches a class at 6. I see everybody going up there. I was like, went to Gino's last night. I was like, maybe I probably need to burn some few extra calories. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And boy, did I immediately regret it. But great workout. Felt terrible. Sat in the cold tub right after.
I saw you. The picture you posted looked like you were still going through it.
Oh, it was tough. That was literally right after. And then about 2 minutes after that, I was freezing my nuts off in the cold tub. But it felt great after the fact. You got to battle through that for 5 minutes. But yeah, that's my curtain call is to my beautiful wife. We had a great day. We have a crawfish boil this weekend. Party continues.
Doesn't look a day over 18, Michael.
Does not. Oh, 21. 21. Let's say we can go to 21 age. I like for her to legally drink, please.
Or just be legal.
Well, 18 is,
yeah.
But 21.
Watch out for Lloyd this weekend, please.
Yeah, Lloyd, you're doing too much.
I gotta go to a wedding. Love is in the air.
You got a wedding this weekend.
Yep.
Good for you, Jay. You're coming back on Saturday. If people want to watch you, where can they watch you today?
We'll be on SEC Network again tonight, right after the 7:00 featured ball game. We are on. We will be talking ball. Are you on Saturday too, or are you done? Just tonight.
They're flying back Saturday.
And that's the obvious curtain call
from
all of us.
Cool. Yeah, obvious curtain call is to you. You look great on your debut. You crushed it. Keep doing it. Hopefully the whole squad's there at some point, one day, in this crazy life. But
I don't think I'll be making that trip.
That's what we gotta get done.
that's it. Enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend. Enjoy the LSU game, obviously tonight on ESPNU at 6:30 or 7:30. 7:30, I believe. Maybe 7:30. The Eastern Central Time Zone really gets me.
Oh, they're can't tell you now.
It should say it on here, but let's see. Let's see.
I think it's
Look
Central.
They play
at 7:30 on ESPNU.
They play at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on ESPNU tonight. Enjoy that game. Obviously, they play in the middle of the week, the middle of the day tomorrow. LSU spring game tomorrow at 1. We haven't talked much about football because there's been a lot of conversation about the baseball team. But spring game is tomorrow. It is going to be the offense versus defense, same style they did last year. Crazy point scoring stuff, but it'll be nice to get the football juices flowing again. It should be a beautiful weekend. Enjoy Masters weekend. Enjoy some pimento cheese sandwiches and all the other beautiful things that come along with the Masters. We will be back here live in studio on Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Jay will be back here right next to us. We'll have some special guests, hopefully. LSU goes and wins, and we got a litany of players that we want to come in and have conversation, talk about how they're about to turn this thing around. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your love. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. That thumbs up button really helps us out. If you can't watch us or you don't like watching us and you like listening to us, which I can't imagine you do, we're more of a visual show.
Well, 2 of the 3.
Yeah, 2 of the 3, right? If you like listening to us, we're anywhere you get your pods. Again, enjoy the rest of the weekend. We will see you on Monday. We love you. Peace.
Hey.